Success isn't a map you can follow. It starts with a spark of curiosity for the unknown, dedication for the unlearned, and innovation to pave the way for the next generation of leaders. These are the makings of our entrepreneurs who are redefining this industry by bringing the real in real estate. Real people, real experiences, real excellence. Welcome to the Real Relentless podcast by Century 21 Tri-Cities, a real estate brokerage in Eastern Washington. This week, we're sitting down with Andrea Gathright and Kim Scholes, two veteran agents with hearts of gold. Together, we're diving into what healthy communication looks like and how these two have discovered what works best for them. Hi, ladies. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Kim Scholes with Century 21 Tri-Cities.
And I am Andrea Gathright with Century 21 Tri-Cities.
And how long have you both been at Century 21?
I've been here 8 years in July.
I'll be 6 years in October. October 21st to be exact.
Mine's July 1. Anniversary dates. They're big deals around here.
Some love them, some hate them.
Only when you have to flip back over.
How did you get started in real estate?
So for me, I kind of grew up in real estate. My aunt is a pretty big real estate agent out in California. So I kind of grew up through the loan and the real estate part of it. And when I was 14, I got my first job with a construction company. So I've always been in the construction field. And then when I turned 18, I worked for a Century 21 in La Mesa, California, back when they still had the gold jackets. I was the girl that made the folders for all the agents.
Love those gold jackets.
Our agents here are much nicer than the ones I worked for back then. Just saying.
And then I was in retail for quite a few years, and when my children left home, I decided that I needed a little more flexible in my schedule. So I jumped into real estate, worked for a couple of different companies until I was looking to advance my career in real estate, jumped full force in, and landed with Vicky. And it was the best decision I ever made.
Biggest blessing ever.
Yep.
How did you two meet?
Well, other than passing in the halls occasionally.
Right. It actually happened, so it used to be once a year, depending on your productivity, we would switch offices.
A musical office ordeal.
Yeah, it's like the 48 hours that all of us agents don't like because we're passing people in the halls and it's just insane.
With your boxes of belongings.
So Kim, I think you were already in that office.
No, I don't know. I don't remember. But we were at the sales meeting where they said we're going to change offices and you had to pick a partner. And Andrew and I kind of looked at each other and was like, well,
all right, let's do it.
You want to try this?
So kind of how it worked. In the first year, she was actually not in the office at all because she was out working in her development in Willowbrook. So I called her. I said, can I just take the whole office over? And I made her desk into my desk. And I'm like, here's the password to my computer if you ever need to use it.
So I walk into the office and I'm like, oh, look at our office. My box of belongings in the corner. So
it looked like I fired her.
It did. And it was, and people had a couple of other agents go, are you okay with that? And I was like, yeah, I'm in Willowbrook all the time working with Ryan Built Homes. So actually I had another place to be. So it was okay. And I wasn't really
the code
here.
to my computer.
And I used it, I think, once or twice.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we joined forces, I guess.
That is. And then 2020 COVID hit. And nobody was here at the office.
It was crickets.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
But after being at home for nearly a year, and Andrea and I were talking quite a bit, and we had also joined this accountability program together. And so we just naturally became accountability partners. And so it was finally like, Andrea, I got to get out of my house. I need to go back to the office.
Yeah.
And I think Andrea said something to the effect of,
I really love my children, but I'm tired of their faces. You know.
Homeschooling still. I mean, they were
Yeah.
still, yeah.
You know, and it's really hard to work when you have teenage boys in the background making all sorts of noise, and you're like this on the, you know, doing like the I'm gonna cut my throat, be quiet while you're on the phone. So yeah, it was like we need to get back to the office. So
And it just kind of evolved into us working together towards some other projects, because I was starting to wind down on Willowbrook. And so Andrea knew I was looking for additional dirt, and next thing you know, we were just bouncing off of each other, and now I have 4
today.
builders and she's got 3, and
So
3 of them we share, but you know,
right.
yeah.
So
When did you two decide to become a team and start working together?
right, and I mean, so in real estate, team is such like a strong word. So like we work together, but I wouldn't say like
Because we still work really independently. Because both of us have been in real estate for enough years that we have a big book of clients.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're still servicing those clients also and staying in touch with them, which is independent of a quote unquote team status. So,
right. So you're not going to see like a Schultz Gathright home team anytime soon.
no.
No. We are two very independent people, so that probably wouldn't
Somebody's
work.
a little bullheaded. Just kidding.
No.
But this is how we work so well together, because we can really bounce off of each other quite a bit. So,
Yeah.
What would you say the other person's strengths are?
okay, so Andrea's strength is she's extremely organized, and so she has helped me get organized quite a bit. And she's a straight shooter. I mean, a lot of times the things that she would say to her clients, I was like, oh, I could. But it's taught me to be a little more assertive. And her OCD, we have these boards in our office. The lines had to be perfectly straight. And God forbid, I picked up the wrong pen color one day. And I thought she was going to have a meltdown. It's funny, and we giggle about it. But she's like, oh, no, you cannot write in that color. This is this. It has to be this color. And so, is it a strength? Probably, because everything's neat and clean, right? And matches. So,
Some people call it OCD, just control freak. Yeah, I guess same thing, right?
right.
You know, Kim is a straight shooter as well. She's just had her edges smoothed out a little bit, you know?
Maybe a little bit.
Her clients love her, which is awesome. You know, we can be going down the street and you hear, you know, someone yelling for her. So that's amazing. And it's awesome for the two of us that we can not be talking, but still know what what each other are thinking. So it works really well.
Or finish each other's sentences.
This is true. So
It was kind of crazy how that all happened, too, because we really weren't, like, close before we started sharing the office. And so this year...
I even thought your name was spelled with a T. There's
She
no
didn't even
T in
know.
Shoals. So...
How have you seen the real estate industry change over the years that you've been active?
I've been active in this market. I became active in 2006, so right before the crash. And so I've kind of seen the market change a little bit. And I've also seen, you know, the influx of new agents, everyone thinking, oh, I'm going to make $1 bazillion doing real estate, not realizing how many hours you have to put in on the backside. Because real estate, although, yes, it's out going and showing homes, these beautiful homes or sometimes unfortunate homes. Well, but you don't. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just opening a door, showing a home. And then there's the contractual aspect of it. With all the new influx of agents that we've seen recently, I know Andrea and I have both ran into some challenges with
improper paperwork, not filled out correctly, like, you know, and that's a big thing. It's, you know, the paperwork, the contract itself is so important, because if it's not done correctly, you're opening yourself up to all sorts of legal guidelines, you know? So when you're on the listing side or even the buying side and you're dealing with a newer agent that isn't trained on the flip side of that contract, you're now essentially doing two people's jobs. Because if you don't fix their mistakes, you're opening your client up for liability. You know, and at the end of the day, that's our job, is to make sure that our clients are taken care of and that, you know, contractually they're safe. So, but as far as like for me, from when I initially got into real estate to now, so I'm originally from San Diego. So the real estate market out there is completely different than here. Like we're in San Diego or Vegas, they saw '08, the crash was hard. We're out here, it was more self-contained, I guess you could say. We're more self-sufficient. But it was pretty steady for me all the way up until last year. And then last year was my best year ever. And then this year, it's a little slower, but we're still really busy. We're just busy in a different way. You know, we have a housing shortage now. So now it's feet on the ground. We need to find listings because without the listings, we don't have homes for our buyers, you know. So for me, it stayed the same. It's just a different type of crazy. But it's real estate. So if it's not crazy, you're not doing it right. So it's true.
It kind of is true. That's why we drink coffee in the morning and wine and tequila at night.
This is true.
For those who may be unfamiliar, what kind of differences, if any, are there between buyers and sellers when it comes to communication styles?
So when you're working with a seller, like you're the listing agent, you're in control.
Mostly.
You're mostly in control, right? You know, you get the offers in, you present them, you know, you do your photos and all that stuff. It's pretty similar, right? As long as the house is priced right. You know, there's some agents that will overprice houses and then some that will underprice them. It's pricing it right. And then with the buyers right now in our current market, you're trying to write the strongest offer you can. And then you're saying a prayer to the real estate gods or whoever you pray to that there is a light that shines down on your contract that says, pick me.
Because there's so many multiple offers and the buyers are so desperate to get in, especially with the interest rates, and to get into a home that they are offering 10, 15, 20, 30.
Up to 50,000 plus more than what the house is actually worth. So if you're a first-time home buyer or you don't have all those liquid assets, it's hard. So picking the right realtor to be in your corner that's seasoned, that knows these tricks, or, you know, that has other little ideas, you know, to make your offer stronger is really important.
So tell me about a time where you had to face a huge hurdle with either a client or pertaining to a deal.
We
won't use names. So we're going to say Kimberly Scholes. We'll use her name. We'll use Kim.
Hey, wait a second. I haven't been your client.
Yeah, but we're just going to pretend.
Oh, okay.
So I had a client that had insisted that a builder open up walls because she was convinced that there was something done incorrectly. Even though the home had been inspected, we had walked through the home during it being built. Not all clients see rationally in stressful situations. So that would be mine. There, you know, you sit down and have that little powwow of, it's going to be okay. I promise you, they know what they're doing. It comes with a warranty. You paid for an inspection. Like, I have covered you on all angles that can be covered. So really, it's just adaptability because everybody's got such a different personality.
I don't know. I can't think of a major hurdle, but I have another story that's not really a hurdle, but it was with a buyer. And we had closed the day before Thanksgiving on a repossessed home, right? Closed, gave him keys. He was out there. He turned everything off, including all the electrical panel. Why he turned off the electrical panel, I'm not really sure, but he did. And I was going out of town for the holiday, and he calls me at 2:00 in the morning with his baby screaming in the background who he's waking up because the house is on fire. So that was probably the most stressful buyer situation that I was in, because I mean, they're close, they own the house, but I had never had anything like that happen before. In the end, it all turned out really well, but there for a couple of weeks, it was pretty stressful because, I don't just dump my clients at closing, right? Oh, here's your keys, bye. You're never going to see me again. So, I went through the process with him with the insurance and all that kind of stuff. So that was probably my most interesting story with buyers.
Interesting, right? No, my very
scary.
My very first client ever is actually at the football field with Matthew, because he had a game, and I get a call and I'm like, from the office, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to this, right? It was a foreclosed home, right? Foreclosed homes are not fun, and this is my very first transaction ever.
Oh,
and then my clients decided they were gonna pay cash for the house, which is fantastic, but when your clients literally mean mattress money.
Oh.
Yeah, that one was a fun one.
She couldn't vet the money.
We got it closed.
Good girl.
We got it closed. So.
What's the best advice that you've given each other?
Breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Lots of coffee in the morning.
Yeah, and breathe. Because
it does get really stressful with what we do. And some days are really, really long, and some days it's like we had all these things stacked on our plate and we're done by noon. And now what do we do? And so you've got to keep your energy focused. I think the biggest thing I've learned from Andrea is time blocking and focusing and getting all those tasks done.
If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't happen.
We've had we've had to share calendars now, because so we know what each other's doing, because our expectations have grown to a level of, what do you mean you're not at the office right now? So because we've kind of started really focusing on finding land and finding builders, and so there's a lot that goes into it.
Because when you have a housing shortage, you have three options, right? It's either find new resale, get new construction, or you sit there with twiddling your thumbs. Well, the third option, twiddling your thumbs, it is not an option for us, So if we're hitting the resale side and we're also hitting the new construction side, we can't lose, right? Which then ultimately means that our buyers and our clients are winning as well. So.
And builders always need additional dirt to build on. So we look for that also.
Exactly.
What do you love about working with people to sell their homes?
It's different every day. There is a new challenge or something new learned every day. And with every contract, real estate's a transactional based learning experience. I mean, so even though I've been in the business for close to 17 years, I still learn things on the contracts, and it's nice to have somebody to bounce some ideas off of.
And for me, I got into real estate not only just because I kind of grew up with it, but I love people. And I know that sounds super corny to say, but I super love people, but I love the architecture lines of homes and buildings. And I don't know if it's because I've been in construction essentially my entire life. But there's something like looking at a house or looking at a building and you just look at the lines. And if you really stop and you look at it, it's really a fantastic thing. So you mix that with liking people, I love most people, right? I'm not going to say I love all, because that would be a lie. And being able to hand over those keys to first-time home buyers or somebody that has just gone through, a major shift or a different chapter in life, and you see that smile on their face and they're really happy, and you're getting those calls afterwards saying, thank you, I love the house, come to dinner. That's really what it's all about.
Building those relationships.
Yeah, real estate is if you're doing it right, is fulfilling.
Absolutely.
So how would you recommend a person to select an agent to work with?
A lot of people, you can go off of stats, but I would say an agent who knows the market, the local market that you're in, because we've grown to 1,200 agents with 190 homes on the market. So not everybody's selling homes. I mean, that's just impossible. So somebody who knows market stats is, and somebody that you can connect with, because in real estate, you are giving extremely personal information and financial information. And so when you're working closely with the lender and with the agent to get the home closed, you end up learning a lot about their lives. So you need to have somebody that you trust.
Somebody that you can trust and that is going to have your back, and with as many agents that there are in our area, chances are you, in your circle of friends or your group of friends, you probably know one or two agents, right? Just because they're in that circle doesn't mean they're the right agent for you. Just because your sister sells real estate doesn't mean she's the right agent for you. It's got to be somebody. Read the reviews, like the honest, the raw reviews, not the ones that you can pay for, or the, you send, out an invite to, stop it, or you send out an invite to, for all your friends who are out at the bars drinking to send you a Yelp review. Like the raw reviews, like what do people honestly have to say about an agent? Are they getting their referrals from past clients they worked with? Or are they paying for their referrals? Repeat business or word of mouth is huge, right? Because at that point, your friend used them and they had a fantastic experience. So.
And buying real estate, it's typically people's largest investment of their lifetime. And so it should be a great experience.
And you should never feel like a transaction.
No.
I'm sure you both have gotten into a rhythm over the years, but can you sort of walk us through what that looks like?
So we can
we
can. So generally speaking, we normally wake up about 5:30. Then we're probably on the phone with each other, drinking coffee at 6:30. The kids are getting ready. Well, my kids are getting ready.
I'm doing emails at this point in time, going through emails.
Shoving the husband off to work, and then we're back on. Then we're getting back on the phone. And this is all at home still. Getting back on the phone, we'll go through the MLS, together, or answer emails. And a lot of times, sometimes we don't even talk to each other. We'll be doing something, and then I'll be like, "Hey, did you see this one?"
Because we share the office and we have the big whiteboard with everybody's name on what they're looking for, both of our clients. So we're always looking out for each other in case one of us misses something. Mm-hmm. So, and it's happened a couple of times.
It has.
And it'll be like, did you see this? I think this would be great for so-and-so. And so that kind of goes on until about 9-ish?
Yeah.
And then we come to the office.
And at the office, havoc starts.
Does.
Upstairs gets a little rowdier.
So we do our focus time and work on our coaching program. And then we kind of, I don't know, it depends on, usually the afternoon is clients or personal appointments or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And showing homes, listing appointments, that kind of thing.
Walking dirt.
Generally speaking, we always go out to lunch.
Typically.
How I'm fluffy and you're skinny, I don't know, but there's that. It's the carbs.
The vegetarian. I don't know.
There you go.
Maybe.
But yeah, so it's a lot of in office before noon, and then afternoon. Generally speaking, we're out of the office. So, and lately we've been in the office trying to find investors for our builders. So.
And if we get really bored, you never know what's going to happen with the two of us.
Bless Vicky's heart.
'Cause there's been a couple of golf balls maybe rolled down the hall.
We'll roll golf balls or bouncy balls into our boss's office.
Just to get a reaction. Because we get, if you sit and stare at the same four walls for too long, and the two of us bouncing off of each other, the shenanigans will start.
But that's pretty much it. And then we're normally out of the office probably by 3:34-ish. So
But you got to remember, we start our mornings at 5. So even though we may not necessarily contact our clients, there's other things that we're doing. So, so by 9 o'clock at night, I'm done. Sometimes 8. So
Don't call me after 11. Anytime 10:59 p.m. and earlier, you are more than welcome to call me. At 11 o'clock, no.
And you can start calling or emailing me at 5.
So
She works late. I work early.
How do you both work towards maintaining healthy communication between each other?
The blessing with the blessing and the curse with the two of us is that we're very
Similar.
we're similar. So like within the office, we're very blunt with each other. Outside of the office, it's like we put
Friend zone on.
yeah, it's like, right, and even with our clients, you kind of insert a little extra barrier on the filter, right? But like, for instance, I'll give you an example. I was it last week or whatever? I'm not sure when it was. So I was in the middle of something and I was getting frustrated. And
cranky.
I was cranky. I was getting frustrated because I had just reached my level of I can't handle the lack of training in other agents, right?
There's that.
And so I had handed her something. Well, I was trying to hand her something. I'm like, do you want this? And she didn't respond, so I just dropped it on her desk or on her computer,
She threw it at me.
And she looked at me and she goes, are you mad at me? I'm like, no, I'm not mad at you. Why? What's going on? So I think for us, being able to have
that blunt of a relationship.
And that level of just honesty with each other. Like, hey, you did this. I didn't think it was cool.
You hurt my feelings.
All right, I'm really sorry. Let's move on, right? Because, the intention is never to hurt anybody's feelings. But we're really good with our builders, per se. So it's group text messages, group emails, so that we're all on the same page. I'm really big on communication. I really struggle when other people don't communicate properly.
Well, and it not only helps us as a pair together on the projects that we got going, keeping the communication open, but using the communication with your buyers or your sellers. I mean, they just want to know what's going on. And a quick text or a quick phone call goes a long ways with them, or just answering your phone. There's that too. So
I haven't called my voicemail in a while, but I think my voicemail even says, I will get back to you within an hour. And for me, that's holding myself accountable, saying, hey, if you text me or call me, I will touch base with you within that hour. Whether it's a text message saying, hey, I'm in a meeting, I will call you by this time. I don't ever want my clients to feel like,
you didn't have time for them.
Like I didn't have a time, or they're just a file in some Rolodex, because that's not the way that I work.
And lastly, what would you say makes Century 21 Tri-Cities different when it comes to communication and relationships?
I want to say, as far as, being blessed to work with Century 21 Tri-Cities, we are so innovative and pushing forward. And hands down, we have the best designated broker. And I'm not just saying that because we're here, right? She is definitely like in your corner as a boss, as, family, and I often tell people, welcome, our new agents, welcome to the family, because that's like, what it is, you know?
Is.
So
I would agree with that.
If you're listening to this and you're thinking about getting into real estate and you don't know what brokerage to go to, I would first tell you,
interview,
right? Get a feeling of what those agents are when you walk in the door. I know that when we interview, well, not us, but when our awesome sales manager interviews new agents, when I see them walking through the door, I'm like, hey, so you're thinking to come, work for the family? Like we're some like mob or something, but we're not, I promise.
Well, we're kind of a group, a clique.
But we all know, I don't know how to explain it.
And the other places that I've been, this is probably the group that is more likely to step in and help you out when you're struggling with something. And whether it be a contract or a question, or, I regularly have new agents call and ask me all sorts of questions. And so you don't always get that in a brokerage. But it's pretty cool that from our most seasoned agents to our newer agents, they're always willing to help out.
And we have like potlucks and stuff. It's amazing. It's literally like a family,
We do have potlucks and our great backyard.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Relentless podcast. You are listening to Andrea Gathright and Kim Schultz. Our podcast is available on a variety of platforms, as well as Spotify. You can also watch this interview on YouTube. Visit c21-tc.com for more information on all things real estate. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time.